Okay guys, so welcome to tonight's live streaming session and let's get started. Okay, so far we have been seeing that gold has been going through quite a good trade this week, and definitely that is a good sign for gold, but we'll see how that goes. Okay. Okay. Hi Stephen, welcome back. Yes, thank you PL, nice to see you. Hope you guys are doing okay too. Alright, so let us get started for today and let us see. Okay. Okay, so what are we actually looking at the current charts on the market, guys? Alright, so PL and everyone. So for the last few weeks, if we try to trace back what really happened on the market, so let us try to take a closer look on those markets first. I think it's really important to get a little bit of understanding what is actually really happened during the last week, so that you guys could get a little bit of a clearer clarity, since we haven't been live here on the last few weeks since I'm taking a break. So far, from what we can see right on the daily charts, I am actually seeing that there's not a lot of changes personally as a long-term trader, because if I'm trying to look based on my perspective on the longer term on this daily chart right now, what really happened since last week is practically, so since Monday here on the 26th until this week. And basically, if I'm trying to draw to you guys to actually show you guys what really happened, is market movement has been ranging again. So again and again, it's been a boring market, and still, we managed to make some good moves on the market as well. And if you guys are paying closer attention, that prices are just moving between 3,300. So I would say not 3,300 on the support area, but since there are some big drops on the market during Thursday, which I'm not wrong, that's the day when we are having the PCE data, the inflation data, so that really gives a little bit of a pressure on gold, whether we are going to see that the easing cycle could be happening from the Fed side. I couldn't be speaking more on that. And certainly, based on those market movements, we do see that gold certainly still holds some support at 3,270 towards 3,300 area. Since the movement has been ranging a lot, it gives you guys that big wick on the lower side of the candlestick. So that really shows you that prices has been quite, I would say, resilient, rigid, and just ranging in the true manner between 3,290 towards 3,350. So that is really the whole outlook last week. So definitely last week is heavy packed news, and this week will be heavy packed news as well, because tonight we'll be having an ADP data. Tomorrow we'll be having ADP data. Tonight we will be having JOLTS, and at the end of this week, everyone will be waiting for the non-farm payrolls at Friday as usual, since that is the most anticipated data as well coming out from the Federal Reserve side, with people expecting to see how the Federal Reserve will be reacting after receiving the news from both the employment market as well as the inflation data that has been released last week, which has been quite positive. Inflation has been quite lower, with the expectations of 2.2%, it came out at 2.1%. And this week employment data, which is always released at the first week of every single month, guys. So take a note if you guys are trying to trade the news, that non-farm payrolls will be released every Friday on the first week of every month, guys. Okay, so that is what is going to happen, and basically a lot of people are expecting it, me personally as well, to really actually see what will be the opinion of the Federal Reserve in the upcoming weeks. Because if I'm not wrong, that we should be nearing the decision making for the Federal Reserve at July. I know it's still a long way to go, but certainly every news, every momentum is likely to impact the market. And my personal opinion for the non-farm payrolls, I don't think I'll be discussing it for today, but people are expecting that the numbers will be lower, meaning that the employment market is weakening. So we'll try to see whether that will be happening. So far, inflation has been going down. Yes, that's true, but so far from the past few weeks, not this month, guys, because this month we'll be trying to see. But if we are trying to see based on the data, that the employment data that will be coming out, is people are expecting that job openings will be lower for tonight. And I know that maybe some of you guys couldn't see it, so I'll be just reading it out to you guys. And definitely we'll be having the Bank of Canada will be releasing tomorrow's decisions at night as well. And if I'm not wrong, let us check closely. So we'll be having the ADP news. Wait, it's not here. Okay. Wait a while. ADP. Okay, so the ADP is expected to hire more people. So based on the expectations for tomorrow, people are expecting that the hiring will still be good, and the non-farm payrolls, people are expecting lower numbers, meaning that employment rate should be lower, earnings is also, inflation is also lower. So everything, it seems like it's going to the right direction, and that should really help to make the Federal Reserve to make a better decisions to go, guys. Alright, so my personal opinion saying that is, I'm likely to see that the Federal Reserve could be deciding soon, but most of the signs are showing that inflation is slowing down, so that's one of the key criteria that the Federal Reserve will be looking at. And second of all, the employment market. So if the employment market is really weakening, lower than expectations, that could really give the push that the Federal Reserve are looking for. Okay, so let us go back towards the charts and see what has been happening for tonight, guys. Alright, so if you guys are interested, so what really happened last week is literally inside this box, guys. Okay, so what happened last week is literally just inside this box, showing you guys that market movement isn't much, but at the very least we know that there's a momentum that we can try to follow, and definitely it's much better than the last 2 weeks, guys. Alright, so I certainly do admit that when the market is not trending well, we couldn't make any great market movements. But when there is clear market trends for several hours, even days, we could actually see that there's a clear trend across the charts here. And last week it's a bit ranging, as you guys could see. Momentum has also been very limited here as well if you compare with last week. So the market movement has been slow and only at surface sometimes, yes. Alright, so okay, so now let us try to take a look here on tonight's chart. So what really happened this week? So last night we actually see that gold market has been superbly well. Why is that the case? Because suddenly we see that since the Asian sessions yesterday, we started to see that gold prices has been appreciated magnificently, and that is certainly a good case of the market. But afterwards we started to see that prices has been slowing down again after hitting the high, and as usual after hitting the midnight sessions on my time zone, prices started to slow down, and we started to see that prices are correcting entering today's Asian session, and prices has been correcting from 3,390, and right now it has already been dropping towards 3,356, and awaiting for tonight's JOLTS data in another 1 hour and 15 minutes to go. So based on that expectations, people are expecting that job openings will be lower, so that seems should be helping to push gold higher in that kind of sense. But so far from what we are seeing on the charts, without looking at the events, it seems that gold prices are still under a lot of pressure for Nuda. And one of the main reasons we are seeing that is the possibility that the US dollar index has been stronger for tonight. So yesterday the dollar is weakening a lot, and that really helped to push down the gold. Helped to push up the gold prices. And tonight we started to see that the US dollar index has been faring pretty well. So if I'm switching up to you, showing you guys what is really happening on the currency strength charts, you guys can actually see what is currently happening right now. That today we are seeing that the US dollar index has been appreciative and the strongest for today, guys. So it's not a surprise, and definitely the weakest pairs. Again, not surprising, the commodities currency coming up from the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar market. But other than that, most of the currencies are a little bit mixed, where we are seeing that the rest of the pack, such as the Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, Swiss franc, and pound sterling, as well as the euro, is a little bit of in a mix, not showing any clear signs. But definitely the best things that's happening on the currency market movement tonight is happening from the US dollar index strengthening, and the weaknesses appearing on the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar. And definitely today, I think what really helped to push down the Australian dollar and the New Zealand dollar is coming out from the event of, if I'm not wrong, Australian employment market has been slowing down from what I've been reading on the news. So I think that is one of the main news that has really helped to push down the Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar for tonight. But other than that, I think tonight we could be actually seeing that gold prices should be under more pressure. Yes, initially I've also been bearish, but market movement has been ranging since then until now, and hasn't been able to show any clearer market movements until now. The momentum isn't there yet, and like I said, there's a support for tonight at around 3,340 and 3,350 area. So we'll see how prices react towards those prices, and if prices just keeps on consolidating, and that could really gives a little bit of a different perspective, and probably we could be seeing the rest of the market ranging even after the news. So we'll try to prepare and see how that goes, and we'll try to assess the situation from there. But certainly the case on the gold market movement for tonight, the selling pressure is still there. I would love to see how the market reaction works at the support area at 3,350, and see how the market reaction works for the next few hours, guys. Alright, because so far this is showing you guys through the 15-minute time frame charts that price movement has been very limited over the last few hours. So for the 15-minute chart, so trace back towards the last 6 hours, so you guys could actually see that prices has just been ranging and moving in a very tight and rigid candlestick if you guys are watching carefully. But certainly the directions are showing signs of weaknesses. Okay, so that's very clear. I don't think any one of you guys could dispute that as well. And I will try to see how the market reactions will be working soon. prices suddenly starts to drop, that could be a really good sign in the market. We'll try to see how that works. But since a lot of times prices are trying to test 3,355, prices keeps on rebounding. So I would love to see how the price reactions will be working at 3,355 and 3,350. And definitely last night has been a wonderful night. We just released 2 signals, but the profit is massive, guys. It's a total of 800 pips in just 2 trades. And definitely it's been a good night for us on our premium signal group as well last night. So if you guys are interested, you guys are welcome to check my link on my profile and click on it, and you guys could get access to it too. Okay, so if you guys are interested to get this premium signals, and it's all for free, I'll let you guys know how you guys could get those for free. You guys are welcome to click the link on my profile on our video descriptions, click on it, check me out, and say that you guys want access on my free premium signals, guys. Okay, okay, so since prices haven't been moving much, as usual, we know around these hours prices sometimes could be very sticky and not showing any clear momentum. So as usual, we'll be trying to assess how things are going on the other side of the trade on the silver market, because yesterday silver market has actually been giving us a lot of surprise and really out of expectations that the movement is really nice as what is happening last night. But I don't really see that as a sustaining as it is, because silver prices tends to be a little bit volatile, could be giving a little bit of a surprise, but usually this price could end up pretty fast. So I'll try to see what's happening on the silver, and if there's any changes on the gold market, if you guys are watching. And since I'm analyzing silver, I couldn't be watching the gold market movement, so you guys can let me know on the comments. And definitely if you guys have any questions or any comments about our analysis, hope you guys could give me some comments and let me know about it. And if you guys think that what we are sharing here is helpful for you, you guys could share this video with your friends who are interested to learn to trade, because I believe sharing is caring, and right now we are sharing our analysis. Hope you guys are getting a little bit of insight from the technical point of view, and hope you guys could learn something, and like and follow us if you guys haven't yet. Okay, and thank you very much for your support. PL as well, thank you very much. So let us see what is happening on the, I think I'll try to see out for the longer bigger, the daily charts first as usual, because I think it's very important for you guys to understand what is happening in the long term as well. Even though it couldn't be meaning much, but I think it's also important to give you guys a little bit of updates what's happening on the long term market movement. So basically what really happened since prices has been able to rebound from the 3,200 support area for the gold market is we are actually started to see that prices are moving towards tendency of what we are seeing through the 3 market scenarios that we have already been discussing on our VIP live sessions, that the first and the most impossible thing to happen much is prices keeps on breaking all-time highs, and not really seeing that, and that leads us to 2. Okay, so for the second one, I think it's not happening, where prices just keeps on dropping, and it's not happening for now. And this is a daily chart on the gold chart, so if you guys couldn't see it, I'll just let you guys know that right now we are watching through the daily charts of the gold market, and prices didn't drop as I'm expected. Okay, so that's not happening, and right now we are back towards the neutral phase. So what is the neutral phase on the long-term market movement? So basically what we are going to see on the gold market movement is we are going to see that market movement on the long term could be ranging, even though we know that the trade deals hasn't been going as well as expected, but at least there's some updates, at least the directions that we are seeing through the long term is good, and that really gives a little bit of good market movement happening here on this market. And certainly out of this kind of market movements, this is quite a good news, I would say. But on the other hand, if you guys are expecting a clearer and a clear market uptrend, a clear market downtrend, it's not going to happen on gold, and it's going to take some time if prices just keeps on ranging between 3,200 area to 3,400 area. If the trade deals hasn't been going well, or the geopolitical tension isn't also going well, that could be the market case scenario that we could be actually seeing on the gold market in the long term, moving on ranges, and that could be a very growing market, and maybe the momentum isn't as big as what we are seeing on April, on March, or even on January, where prices has been moving in a clear trend. If you guys are watching here, so this is the market movement at the end of the year. January, February is a little bit slowing down, but March, it's been a fantastic month. And April, on the first part of the month, it's been pretty well as you guys could see. Straight jump from 3,000 to 3,500 at its highest, closest at 3,300 area. And now we are back on the sideways ranges again. So if you guys are very bullish on the gold market in the long term, you guys could go ahead, be bullish, but make sure that you guys need to take a look at how the chart pattern or how the trend is moving. Certainly the current market movement is showing you guys a very clear sideways over the past 1 month plus, guys. Okay, so that's why you guys need to be cautious about being bullish and placing your trades very bullish, guys. Okay, so that's a difference. You guys could be bullish, but you guys could place your trades neutrally as well. Okay, so that's the view on the gold, and let us try to analyze what's happening on the silver market for now. Alright, so for the silver market, I think for the very first time, I think I could say for sure that silver prices has been breaking out of the resistance area. So let me just delete some of the lines. It's been pretty rigid on the silver market, as you guys could also see that by yourself. The price has been moving in a very tight ranges for most of the time, and as a result we are seeing a lot of lines that have been drawing. But let me just erase some of it so that you guys can see much clearly I said. Okay, so the original uptrend channel, oops, I think what's happening there. So for the very first time, I can say for sure that silver price movement has officially returned towards the uptrend channel. So what really changes on the silver market movement? So last night market movement on the silver market movement has been very, very huge, and that is certainly a positive thing. And why is that a positive thing, guys? Because last night alone we are seeing that prices hits its highest price at $34.78. So prices has been quite over dramatic in that sense, because gold prices are just rising by 1.8%. I mean, gold prices jumped 2.8% and silver prices jumped 5.38%. It's almost double, even though it's not really a total of double of it. But certainly that gives you guys that kind of sense that prices has been moving very well. Okay. Okay, so based on what is happening right now, this is certainly a very good and a positive case. And why I am saying that, because with the advances that we are seeing on the silver market has actually helped to put silver back on track on the uptrend, and we are actually seeing the possibility that prices could stay above $34 for the very first time, and safe to sure that even though prices hasn't been able to move very well over the past 2 months since April, so we can see that prices has just been ranging between $32 towards $33 for most of the time for over 2 months, and suddenly just in a day everything changes is certainly a big thing happening. So I would say that, and basically what is happening through here is certainly a good sign, guys, because with this kind of things happening on the market, we're actually seeing the possibility that prices has the chances to stay back on the uptrend, and that could really change my perspective, especially if prices keeps on playing above $34 in the long run. Because if prices just stays above $34 and we are seeing the chances that the chart patterns is good, we could actually be bullish for the very first time on the silver market in the long run. This is right now we are looking at daily chart, so maybe if you guys are thinking this is a 15-minute time frame charts, it isn't, guys, and this is daily charts, and this is actually a very good thing. And what really basically happened here is the possibility that prices could be sustaining above $34, and we could actually start to see that silver market has the pathway to hit $35, $36 in the long run, if prices still remains above this uptrend channel, above $33.90, $34, and we are actually seeing good chances that prices has good chances to be bullish on the silver market in the long run for the very first time. and we'll try to see how this works, but that is the overview for the silver. And what could be happening here is the change of the market events, and we'll see how this changes in the future. But personally, this is a good update on the long run based on the daily charts that we are watching for now. Okay, and back on the short term, let us see what has happened. So based on the short-term market movement, is the possibility that right now price moving really well, I would say. And why I'm saying that it's moving very well, because personally from what I've been seeing, that silver market has been able to hold itself pretty well at the $34 mark. Because if you guys are watching right now, this is a 15-minute time frame charts right now that we are watching, and prices has been able to rebound from the lows. Okay, so that is certainly a good thing on the market. And however, on the short term, what is happening? So basically, after that 5% increase for the day, prices have hit the high at $34.80, and prices have started to slow down, going back lower. And since the Asian sessions for today, prices have been dropping, testing the support at $33.90, $34, and prices has been rising higher. However, there's still resistance available on the short-term basis at $34.30, $34.46, and this resistance lines has been drawn for months, guys, because I haven't changed this and I haven't added any lines over the past weeks. And certainly this kind of market movement has been able to show us that the market movement here on the silver market could be very rigid, as we guys could see that with how things has been going on the silver market could be very bullish, and definitely I should be expecting the same thing happening on gold. So that's why I'm still trying to see how this goes, as prices has been quite stubborn and hasn't been able to drop lower than 3,355, 3,350 area. And I think that is also probably reflective through the silver market movement, where we have actually been seeing that prices hasn't been able to drop below that on the silver market movement at $34.20 area. So I think that could be the signs where we could actually be seeing that those weaknesses appearing on the Asian sessions and the London sessions could be over soon, and entering the US JOLTS news, we could actually see that gold for tonight has the room for an upside. Okay, so for tonight, probably we could see that. I would love to see how the US dollar index works later on, because I think that is still a big determinant on how the gold and silver market will be moving next. And like I said, there's a big changes happening on the silver market, so be aware. We could be very bullish on the silver market, and you guys know that silver market movement bullishness is really much pips, dollars. The size is really huge, and hope you guys could take a note for that, because with this kind of positive silver market movement, there's a good chances we could see that prices are going to move much better than you guys could be expecting. Alright, so for now, I would say that prices actually on silver market, despite the possibility that prices has been moving on a sideways over the past few hours, but still the tendency is likely to rise for silver, even though it's a bit slower. I'll be waiting for the clear momentum, as there's still a resistance here at $34.30. I would love to see how prices break out of here and how is the aftermath of the reactions, because the resistance there has been quite sticky. And I think it's also the same thing happening on gold, where prices could also still stays above 3,355 and hasn't been able to show any clear market reactions. So for now, I will stay on the sidelines and try to see how this works, because entering too early could be very risky. Market movement has been very rigid, especially on the gold market for tonight, as I believe you guys have been watching the market for quite some time. I do see the possibility that price has been a bit slower for tonight too. So for now, we'll try to assess the situations on the other market side, and I think I'll be discussing next what could be happening on the US dollar index, guys, because the US dollar index has been moving massively, I would say, over the last weeks, especially after yesterday's market movement, guys. It's actually quite huge as well. So we'll try to see from that kind of perspective as well. Try to give you guys what are the most recent updates that has happened since last week. And definitely the US dollar index drop helped to push up gold prices. And if you guys asking me whether gold prices could be going up further, needs to be accompanied with the weaknesses of the US dollar index, I still see that as a big part of push factor for the gold. Because if the US dollar index still remains high, I don't really see gold has a lot of room to rise more. So definitely we need to see that the US dollar index should be further weakened if you guys want to be bullish on the gold for the long run. And again, like I said, on the long run, I'm seeing limited upside. So there must be a lot of positive sentiments, a lot of positive signs, so that we can actually be very certain that gold could be rising in the long run. But for tonight, prices are still slowing down. We are waiting for further clarity on both gold and silver. Okay. As the price reaction over the past few hours hasn't been well for both gold and silver, has been ranging, as you guys could also see that too. So if you guys have any opinions about the market, you guys could let me know. PL, if you have any suggestions or thoughts, you guys are welcome to let me know on the comments, guys. Okay. And definitely, so far from what we have been able to see, I don't think it's going to change much for the hour. So I think we are going to see more market reactions on our VIP live sessions. So if you guys are interested to get those insights about what I'm looking through the market and what are my opinions about the trade deals, about the geopolitical tension, and definitely guys, a lot of things could be happening there. So if you guys are interested, you guys could follow me there as well, because I'll be discuss more insights about those market at that. Alright, so for now, we'll try to see first for the next 2 to 3 minutes, see whether any big changes could be happening on the gold as well on the silver. If there's no big changes, I think I'll be discussing what could be happening on the US dollar index with you guys. Alright. Okay, so far the silver market movement is trying to move, but nothing much for now. Trying to break out $34.30, but honestly the price reaction isn't that well from what I'm expecting. Prices is rising without big volumes, so that could be a concern for me. But certainly if prices could stay above $34.30, we'll see how that goes. I would prefer to be late again, guys, rather than rushing in, especially if we are on the sideways range market in the long term. It is very painful, guys. Alright. Okay, so it turns out that the gold market has continued to rises again since we started our live streaming sessions, and no wonder we are seeing the pressure is still there for the gold. And definitely it really gives a different picture on what is really happening on the silver market, guys, because the silver market just keeps on rising. So I think those two assets for today could not be correlated. For tonight, if gold prices keeps on dropping and silver prices keeps on rising, we couldn't be associating those two for tonight, because some days that could happen. And certainly, like I said, I would love to see the after market reactions on the gold market, whether prices could be breaking down lower than 3,330, 3,355, 3,350 area. Okay, it seems that the price movement has been very well, and I do see some good chances that prices could start moving from there. So we'll see how this price continuation works. Certainly I'm seeing some positive signs that is certainly the case, and we'll see how that goes for now. Okay, so price movement has shown a good tendency, and let us try to see whether prices could at least hit 3,150, because there are some chances that prices could hit there at the very least for tonight. Okay, for now let us try to see what's been happening in the silver market as well. Silver market has actually still stayed above $30.30, and right now still, I would say it's a little bit slowing down. We'll see how that price reaction works. I'm not really seeing positive signs for now, and with the tendency that gold market movement has been slowing down, I would still be cautious for tonight movement, because usually the tendency gold weakening, we are going to see silver prices weakening. So I would love to stay on the sidelines for silver and try to focus on gold, see how the market reaction works. As the risk reward size, it could be much more attractive and much safer here rather than risking it on the silver market side for now. Okay, so for now let us try to discuss what has been happening on the US dollar index, as we have already discussed. Okay, so for the most recent market events that I think I've been missing out since I haven't been refreshing it, so we're actually seeing that euro inflation is positive, guys. Prices has been dropping lower, and that could be a good sign that the inflation started to slow down on most of the market regions around the world, and definitely the unemployment market still remains stable on the European side. So I think that's a good sign. And let us see whether that is also happening on the US side as well, because so far we haven't been able to see much on that side too. And definitely right now, with the signs of weakness we are seeing over the past few hours, we are going to see whether the price could start moving lower or just stays on the sideways area that we have been watching, guys. Okay, so we'll see that. And definitely silver market is still trying to stay above, so we'll see how that goes. For sure, if it goes wrong, at least the risk will be much more limited on gold rather than the silver market. Okay, so for now I think I'll be trying to see whether prices could be going lower or going higher from here, because right now it could be a very key moment whether prices could start dropping or start rebounding again. Okay, for now let us see what is happening on the US dollar index. So what is actually happening? So if you are watching through the bigger picture daily charts as usual, we are actually seeing one of the two good things that is happening in the market. So first, we have actually been seeing that, like I said, prices on the US dollar index has been moving on the downtrend on the long period of time since the early of February, and prices has been dropping from there a lot actually. And from the peak at around 109.8, prices has been dropping back lower and lower, so I think that's a good sign. And with this kind of market movements, what I will be expecting coming off the market is the possibility that at the very least we could see that the US dollar index gives a little bit of a fight, and it actually happened. during the early part of the May, where we started to see that US dollar index tries to break out higher and tries to consolidate at the low area, $99.50 to $100. And what really happened next is we are seeing a false breakout that is happening, and we are seeing that prices hasn't been able to sustain itself pretty well. And every single time that prices are trying to break out and stays above $100, and what happens next is prices are weakening back once again, and we started to see that prices has been moving lower and lower, and right now it's returning towards near the low at $98.20. However, like I said, that last night was a big drop just for the day, so every candlestick represents a day, and last night drop has actually helped to push up gold prices. And with the US dollar index today has been strengthening, that could be a little bit of a tricky thing for the gold market, guys, as usual. And let me just erase this chart so you guys could be seeing it clearly, and to show you guys clearly that right now the price resistance is still existed at $99.30, which yesterday prices are trying to break out higher and return towards that price, but closes pretty bad, and we are right now seeing that prices are trying to sustain its movement towards the higher side. So we'll see how this goes, and this is on the daily chart. But the overall side of the market that we are seeing on the US dollar index is the tendency for prices to weaken, and that is certainly the certainty that we are seeing on the long run, especially with the trade deals hasn't been going much. So we'll see how that goes, but certainly last night big drop has actually offered some room for the gold prices to, for the US dollar index to rebound for today. Okay. So for now, I think if we are opening on the shorter time frame charts, I think we're going to see that the US dollar index should be strengthening over the past 1 to 2 hours that we have been watching here, and certainly I think that should be able to help to push down gold prices. But so far we haven't been able to see much, and instead we are actually seeing that gold prices has still been able to hold well. I think that's maybe due to the reasons that we are very near towards the GOLDS news. So maybe that is one of the reasons where we are still seeing the possibility that gold prices are still able to hold itself pretty well. We could be shaken out of the market and prices could immediately drop afterwards. That could usually be the case. But certainly if there's no big events, usually we could be actually seeing the reflectiveness and the signs of the trends that should be appearing much faster on the market than the usual ones that we are watching right now. Okay, so we'll see how that goes. But for now, if we are watching through the US dollar index, we should be able to see that if the US dollar index keeps on strengthening, we could actually see some signs of possible prices could try to touch towards the $99.70 area on the US dollar index, and we'll see how that goes on again. Because certainly prices are right now trying to break out 99. If prices could stay above $99, next price target could be at around $99.20. Okay. But the overall view is very clear. US dollar index on the long run remains under pressure. But for tonight, after yesterday's drop, prices are having the tendency to rebound. So we'll see how that goes. And definitely with how things has been happening on the US dollar index, I think it's also appropriate for us to also take a look what is happening on the other currency market, as usual, through the currency strength charts, and see what is happening from there onwards. Okay. So we'll try to see how that impacts the gold market from here. for now, I think we're going to see market will be slowing down. We'll see how that goes. But certainly with the US dollar index has been strengthening, what could be happening next? I think that's the very key word for now, for today. And what we are actually looking through the currency strength charts could actually just means one thing. And the only one thing that we are watching through right now is a good possibility that with the US dollar index has been strengthening, most of the other currencies should be weakening on the overall basis, guys. It's usually the case. And definitely with this kind of market movement, what I will be expecting is prices should be moving lower for weakening currency like the ones that we are watching through here on the Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar. So we'll try to take a look on those two currency market trades against the US dollar index. Well, for the rest, I think I'll be watching the signs that are starting to weakening, like the Japanese yen and the Swiss franc, because if you guys are watching carefully here, prices are starting to slowing down for the brown lines as well as the neon blue lights. So if you guys are watching carefully, you guys can actually see some good signs that could be appearing on the currency market. So we'll try to take a closer look. For now, I'll let you guys try to analyze it as well. Try to take your time, see what is happening through the currency strength charts, and try to get something here as well. Okay. So it seems that the currency strength charts are refreshed, and we're actually seeing that the US dollar index keeps on continuing going stronger, but not a lot of great signs are happening on the gold chart. Gold chart still remains around the same prices that we are watching just now. But definitely Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar also starts to reconsolidate, so we'll see how that works. Okay, so let us see from the charts. Okay, so it seems that gold prices are still remains, I would say, under that kind of ranging movement. Nothing much for now. And definitely we started to see that silver market hasn't been able to follow through with that kind of good signs. So definitely we'll try to see whether gold market could start slowing down from here. Usually that will be the case, and definitely signs of weakness are already appearing on gold. It's just a matter of when, and maybe we could be shaken off the market, and it's all part of the trading plan, so we'll see how that goes. Like I said, I am seeing good chances with the US dollar that has been rising. We should actually able to see some good signs happening on the gold market weakening. Okay, so for now, let us try to assess what are happening on the currency trades. So let us check Australian dollar USD. Okay, so far Australian dollar USD has actually been moving in a very similar fashion with what we're actually seeing on gold, guys, because right now 15-minute charts, we are seeing that Australian dollar has been ranging between 0.645 0.6465, so prices has been ranging, but like I said, I started to see some sense of a rebound on the Australian dollar, so I think it should be also reflective towards the NZD USD. Prices also starts to rebound near the support, so I think I'll be assessing my situations on here, but definitely the signs of weaknesses has been appearing since the Asian sessions, where prices has been dropping from the peak at 0.605 from Tuesday Asian sessions, and dropping towards the lows 0.59914. So the drop has been pretty much for the currency market side, and I believe that should be the case also on the Australian dollar USD. So we'll see how this goes. And definitely with this kind of market movements, what I will be expecting is the possibility that prices should be moving much better from here. Okay, so Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar has been weakening a lot, so I think I'll be assessing my situation on the other side of the currency trades. So we still have some trades that could be pretty well on the US dollar CHF and the US dollar Japanese yen, which are still weakening, and we'll try to assess one by one. Okay, as usual. Alright, so the US dollar CHF could be a very good trades for you guys if you guys love the trade on the currency side. Me personally, I still do some trades when the market conditions is really clear, but so far I think I've been missing out. But if you guys are scalpers, you guys are just trying to chase 10 pips, 20 pips on the currency market, that could be very achievable. So you guys could try to consider USD CHF market movement. And other than the USD CHF market movement, I think what could be happening good is also appearing on the US dollar Japanese yen. For both of the safe haven currencies, US dollar index strengthening, this could be one of your good choices if you guys wanted to trade here as well. Okay, so for longs, I think we could actually see some good chances appearing on this market for both US dollar Japanese yen and the US dollar CHF market. And other than that, I think currency is also weakening on the pound sterling side, GBP USD. So you guys could consider this, and actually the drop in the GBP has actually been pretty well, getting the good confirmations on this 15-minute time frame charts. Yep, so it's pretty good for the GBP USD for tonight. You guys could consider that if you guys wanted to trade on the currency side. So this could be a very good chance. Prices could be actually returning towards 1.348, so a total of 15 pips, not that bad. And what else? Euro USD. It's moving really similar with what we are seeing through the GBP USD just now. Okay, good chances we could actually see Euro USD return to its 1.136. 20 pips, not bad. Should be opening bigger lot sizes as the pips isn't much on the Forex side. Okay, but the tendency right now with the US dollar index still keeps on strengthening, we are seeing good chances that could be happening too. Okay, but I think for the rest, I think it's not really clear, so maybe you guys can consider GBP USD, Euro USD for shorts, for longs, US dollar Japanese yen and US dollar Swiss franc. So I hope that helps you. And I think the rest is a little bit mixed, so I think I'll be avoiding those. And 4 currency pairs is more than enough for you guys to choose from. Okay, so yeah, back to gold chart, see what has been happening since then. Nothing much has changed, honestly speaking, but at least we are starting to see that prices are weakening too on both gold and silver hasn't been able to surpass the resistance. So I think those signs are pretty good signs that has been showing through the charts, and we could actually maybe see better market movement happening later on in the market, maybe after the live streaming sessions end, and maybe we could be actually seeing better market movements happening at our VIP live sessions for tonight. So I think that could be the case. We'll see how this goes. Definitely right now market movement has been ranging for once again, so we'll see how this goes. Okay, so far no clear market movements. We'll see how that goes. Definitely from what I'm expecting from here, it's a little bit of a slow market. So I think with the remaining time that we have, we'll try to analyze other market as usual guys. So I think we haven't been keeping in touch of what is happening on the all market, and if you guys still remember what I told you guys about my point of view on the all market, is I'm seeing that chances all market couldn't be breaking down lower than $60, and that is what I've been telling you guys since the last 2 weeks. So we'll see how that goes on the all market soon with you guys. Okay, but definitely the gold market seems likely to be on the ranging market, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, it seems that the US dollar index are weakening, so maybe they could give gold a little bit of a good market movement on the upside. So we'll see how that goes. That's why we are started to see that gold seems likely to try to break out higher, but we are not seeing that happening on silver. Is that happening too? Okay, it seems that is also the case. So we'll see how this goes. Definitely around events, it's usually the case, we could be getting shakeout a little bit too early on the market. Okay. For now, let's try to analyze what is happening on the oil market. Okay, so for now, as of now, we are analyzing on the daily charts, and one of the clear signs that we have been looking on the oil market for some time is I've been telling you guys that there's a strong support at $60, and every time prices are trying to break down lower than $60, there seems that prices has able to hold itself pretty well, and prices on the oil market couldn't be breaking down lower than $60. And actually right now we are looking at one. So with this kind of market movement, the expectations for the oil market should be able to play above $60, but the market movement condition hasn't been that well. And why I am saying that isn't that well, because if you guys are watching carefully, is we're actually seeing the good possibility that prices are still ranging on this bigger sideways range between $60 to $63, $64 area, and we haven't been able to see any breakthrough happening, because so far, yes, long-term market movement is still showing us one clear thing, that prices are still weakening as the ones that we are seeing on US dollar index. But at the very least, we are getting some good signs that prices are still able to hold itself pretty well around the ranges that we have been watching. So one of the clear things that I've been watching is that over the past 2 months since April, we're actually looking at a good possibility that prices has been able to build up a bottoming phase here. Every time prices broke below $60, prices always returns up furthermore. And right now, with the consolidation that has been forming, it has actually formed a pretty good chart pattern that I'm seeing as of now. Is the possibility of a inverted head and shoulder could be happening. And the only confirmation that we could be getting that is once prices break out of $64.50, and if prices immediately breaks out from there and the follow through do come out on the market, we could actually be seeing chances that prices could return towards $70 in the long run. But it's going to take time. It's going to be a long journey, I would say, because oil has a lot of negative sentiments. But I think even despite all of the negative sentiments that has been coming out, we are actually seeing that oil prices have still been able to stay above $60, and that has shown that we could actually see a floor building up on the oil market at $60, and we could actually start to see clearer and better market movements happening once prices breaks out of $64.50 on the long run. However, what is happening in the short term, I think that's what most of you guys are interested in the market. So what is happening on the short term, like I've always told you guys, is the same thing. You need to look at the shorter time frame if you guys want to look at the short term charts. And basically what really happened here is this. So since last week, so let me just, to give you guys a little bit of a idea what we are watching to the markets over the last week, is all market has been ranging once again, guys. Alright, now let me just switch to the 30-minute time frame chart so that you guys can actually see. And let me just delete this side, and to show you guys what I'm actually seeing on this oil market is, so since last week around this price, Monday here, okay, so around here, so prices are just been moving in these ranges for the past 1 week, guys. Literally no big market movements. Yes, there's been some drops, but usually the drops that I've been noticing is the price movement is pretty fast, and they didn't really build up a good consolidations. So it's either you guys are watching carefully, or either you guys have been putting your price alerts. Otherwise, you guys wouldn't be noticing this. And price movement is usually represented by a couple of candlesticks, and this is right now 30-minute time frame chart. So that means in 1 hour, prices just immediately drops that fast, and then prices recovers, and it's usually the case on the oil market with this kind of ranging market movement that we have been watching. And with this kind of market movement, I think that's why a lot of people are trying to say it's a bit hard to trade on all, and maybe that could be the case because with this kind of market movement, price movement has been very sticky and has been quite rigid, and I would say a little bit organized, that the drop is happening just in a few candlesticks, so that could be a bit tricky, and the consolidation isn't really well. So I would say that I would love to see how market movement will be behaving after breaking $64.50 in the long run, because I still see that as quite an important case, because so far, if you're just watching for today, what is happening for tonight is prices are just been moving from $63.40 towards $62.70, and that's all. And price movement is very limited. We are not seeing any big or even a clear signs of a good signs whether prices could be going up, could go going down, and it's just showing us this sideways trend. So it's a little bit of, I would say, not a lot of choices for now. And if you guys are a sideways trader, that means you're guys trying to find support, resistance. Support is very clear at $62.70. Resistance is at $63.40. So it's been very clear, but no clear trends, guys. Okay, so I think I will be avoiding to trade here on this all market with this kind of market movement that hasn't been that clear for us. And I would love to see how the price reaction works when prices start to break up higher than $64.50 area, and the aftermarket reactions of that price breakout. Okay, for now I'm not really seeing much from here. So let's go back towards the gold market, see how the price reaction works, and nothing much as well. It's the same thing here and there, not anything big changes happening here. And I think despite the earlier US dollar index weaknesses, we are not seeing any big drops. So I think it's going to take some time before we actually start to see the big drop. Maybe we could be, if you guys have already been entering to doing some short trades, you guys could have the chances to be shaken out of the market with this kind of market movements, because with this kind of limited ranges here, sometimes it could be a very tricky market as usual. And I believe that should be the case also happening on the silver market too. So we'll try to see how that goes. And I think we should be seeing that prices should be ranging around this area, 3355, 3360 area, until the end of our live streaming session. So we'll see how that goes. Personally, I'm still having the bias for the short for tonight with what we have been seeing, and the tendency for prices has been weakening a lot, and we haven't seen any clear signs of drop. So I think there's chances for prices to keep dropping first before prices reconsolidate again on the worst case scenario. That's what I'm looking at the market for now. Okay, so if you guys do have any questions, if you guys are interested to get our premium signals for free, you guys could check my link on my profile, and you guys could chat me up, say that you guys want to get my premium signals for free, and I'll get you guys the way and how you guys could get those for free and without even paying any money, guys. Okay, so if you guys are interested, you guys could check that out there, and hope you guys are enjoying our analysis so far on a lot of varieties that we have been talking. We have already been discussing about what's happening on gold, silver, and also other commodities as well, and also the currency market with you guys, so that you guys are getting some idea what's happening around the world about the trading side of the market, from the currency side towards the commodity sides. Okay. But so far, from what I've been seeing, prices are strengthening back against the US dollar, so I think it's going to take some time for the options if you guys are trying to take some trades on the currency side, and that's why I've been trying to avoid, because the tendency momentum is very short-lived. So I think I'll be sticking to what has been moving pretty well on here. Okay, so if you guys are enjoying what you guys have been listening, you guys are welcome to share our video to your friends or anyone that you guys know who is trying to learn to trade or trying to trade. You guys are welcome to share these live streaming sessions with them, because I believe sharing could be helpful for them, and sharing is caring. And definitely, if you guys are enjoying it, you guys could also give us a support by giving us a thumbs up, give us your likes, and hopefully you guys learn something out of tonight's market movement, even though it's not much, but certainly the updates could be helpful for you guys. Okay. Okay, so far price movement has been slow. You're not getting any good market reactions out of the gold as well as the silver market too. So we'll see how this goes. But I've already been telling you guys what I'm seeing on the market, and definitely if you guys wanted to get what is the reactions after the JOLTS, you guys are welcome to follow me on my VIP live sessions where I'll be discussing what's happening and could give you guys more updates on what has been happening on the market. Okay, so if you guys want to get that exclusive insights, you guys are welcome to check out my link on my profile. Click on the link and I'll let you guys know what I'm looking at the market for now. Okay, seems that prices are still trying to break out higher, and there's chances that if you guys are doing some shorts, there's a possibility that you guys could also be getting hit out by the volatility that we are watching through here. Okay, so it seems that price movement hasn't been much, and definitely right now we are seeing that gold for once again ranging again between these ranges for now. So we'll see how this goes, but since the price movement hasn't been that well, and I believe that should be the same thing happening on silver. Prices are still trying to break out even though the price movement hasn't been that well. There's tendency that prices could be building up a very long wick before prices could be dropping. Okay, so we'll see how this goes later on. It's almost the end of our live streaming session, so I think we are going to see much more market reactions at another 2 more hours. So I think I'm expecting that price movement should be very much ranging around this kind of area, even though the tendency is likely to go weaker. But with this kind of market movement, I will be cautious for once, especially if you guys have been doing some trades and if you guys have been kicked out of the market. So I would say maybe for now we'll try to stay put first, see how that goes. Okay, for now, yes, it seems the market should be ranging. If you guys are trying to do some short-term trades, maybe 3365 could be your shorter term target. If you guys are trying to do some longs, even though that's a very for short term, and I'm not really convinced that prices could be going up that much. But if you guys are trying to chase 10 to 20 pips, you guys could try to do some buys, but I'm not really seeing the chances. I've still seen the weaknesses could still be appearing in the gold market too. Okay, so we'll see how that goes. Looks like we are seeing the possibility that what we are telling you guys about, that the possibility of getting shake out of the market right now happening in the market. So I think it could be a very tricky market for now. So for you guys, if you guys are trading, be aware as well. Okay. Okay, so with the remaining time that we have been watching, maybe I could be giving us a little bit of updates what's happening on the market on the equity sides, guys, because I think we haven't been touching on that since we have some times left, and with the ranging market movement that we have been watching throughout the markets for now. So I think it's a good time for us to take a look at that before we give you guys the conclusion of what's happening for tonight. And later on I'll be seeing you guys on our VIP live sessions. Okay, so I think the most important key things that you guys could be taking a look is through the US 100 charts or the Nasdaq 100, and I think that chart pattern could be giving us a little bit of indications what's happening on the market. And so far from what I am seeing on the US stock analysis is the possibility that prices could start rebounding higher. And why is that the case, guys? Because personally, first, I've been seeing prices has been moving pretty well, even though there's been some false breakout, false breakdown, but the overall signs are showing that prices are still holding itself pretty well. So I think that's one of the notes that you guys could take over on this US stock analysis. That's first, because prices has been trying to break down below 21,000, has failed to do so, has tried to break out higher than 21,500 and also failed to do so. And that really shows you guys the possibility that prices has been able to hold itself pretty well, and we are seeing good chances that prices could continue to go higher once prices could stay above 21,200 and continues to go higher above 21,500. So that will be the two key criteria that we are going to look out from the stock analysis. First, prices shouldn't be breaking down below 21,200 and maintains its price and plays above 21,500 to be seeing the possibility that prices could start breaking record prices towards 22,100 area that we are watching at the end of the mid-December. So if that's going to happen, we are going to see prices should be starting to touching near 22,000, and I'm also seeing the same scenario also happening on the US 500. Prices are trying to break out higher, but definitely the most bullish signs are appearing on the US 100 stock indices, and it's still far away for the US 500 as prices has been quite ranging for US 500. And for the US30, it's a little bit further away, but prices has for once again returned towards this ranging market movement. So US30 has also returned towards the uptrend channel, even though right now it's still on the consolidations, it's still far away from the high, but signs are showing pretty good chances for stock indexes to return higher, especially as you guys know, non-farm payrolls are at the week, and definitely if the employment market this week should be well, we are going to see good chances that the stock indices could be benefited as well. So if you guys are watching carefully, there could be one of your good chances on the stock indices after getting the confirmations out of the market. Okay, so it's almost time, so let me give you guys a little bit of a recap what is happening in the market. So far we have been seeing that gold has been weakening, but the tendency is likely to range. We are going to see further market reactions near the GLOTS news on another 2 hours, and we'll try to see what could be happening next. And the same thing is also happening on the silver market. Prices are still ranging and hasn't been able to show us any clear trends for the time when we are doing our live streaming sessions here. And later on I'll be discussing more on our VIP live sessions, what's actually happening. And definitely I'm expecting that prices should be further weakened, but with this kind of momentum I'm not really seeing much of a change. And definitely you guys need to be patient, and there's a tendency for us to get kicked off the trades easily with this kind of market movement ranging this manner. Okay, so I hope you guys are enjoying here, and like I said, there's a good chance we could see further market reactions happening later on. So if you guys wanted to get more exclusive insights and how I'm viewing the market clearly, you guys are welcome to join my live streaming sessions on the VIP live, and you guys could get access towards that by checking out my profile on my link. Checking the link on my profile and click the link and chat me where you guys could get access on my VIP live sessions. And for premium signals, you guys are also welcome to check the link on my profile and chat me 1 premium free signals. I'll show you guys how you guys could get premium signals for free as well. Okay, so see you guys back on the VIP live sessions, and hope you guys are enjoying the analysis, and don't forget to follow, like, share and subscribe. Okay, see you guys there. Bye.